So that's going. Let me start recording. Oh wait, why can't I? I did this last time. I tried to local record, but I couldn't. Why was that again?
Oh, I'm trying to remember.
Too many concurrent sessions. Try closing other recording software.
Was it because you had like a specific platform on?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what it was. Let's see. Was it? It may have been my camera. Let me turn off my camera on that and see. Ah, it was. Okay. So I just have to turn off my local camera so you won't be able to see me, but the stream camera is still there.
Okay.
Well, cool. Yeah, we are live, hot and ready.
This is like one of the first times we've ever done it where
It may have been.
We're not talking about something random.
I know. Well, we were talking about something random earlier.
That's true. That's true.
I'm on it now. I'm on top of things.
Getting things done.
Try to.
And I just heard my front door open and I'm not sure what's going on.
Oh, that's weird.
Let me check with Ruthie real quick.
Yeah, you good. You good.
It's always something. Did you open the front door?
View in live control room. Ah, that's how you do it.
There we go. Can't start a show without something.
Oh, it's inevitable for us.
Awesome. Well, do you want me to start us off?
Yeah, man, go for it.
All right. What is up, everybody? We are Calling All Nerds, and you have answered the call, the beacon in the sky, if you will. We are your friendly neighborhood hosts that talk about anything within the entertainment zeitgeist. We are so excited to talk about some amazing stuff tonight, specifically around probably what's currently the game of the year for both Tyler and I, unless something has changed in the last few days, Hogwarts Legacy, as well as we just wanted to kind of touch base on our thoughts on any of the games that were shown over the last few weeks during the PlayStation State of Play, the Nintendo Direct, and there was a Pokemon conference that I was unable to watch, but I'm sure Tyler has some thoughts on that as well.
For sure.
Other things that I wanted to mention real quick, definitely if you follow us on YouTube or Spotify, you may have seen that Tyler has already done the first 2 episodes of, what did we end up calling it?
The Chatting Chatot.
The Chatting Chatot, which you should definitely check out if you have not done so already for anyone that loves Pokemon. I am very close to finishing my script for my very first episode of Popcorn Addicts, which is a very small, like 5-minute review of movies. I'll be sending you my final draft, Tyler, because I'm paranoid that it's terrible. But no spoilers for anything there. But we're trying to branch out and try some new show ideas. And then finally, I just really wanted to kind of plug in Tyler's personal YouTube channel. Is it Mr. Teenator still?
It is, yes.
Yeah, Mr. Teenator. He has a growing fan base. What are you at now? Like 200?
We have passed 200 subs. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's wild.
Everyone should go check it out. It's really awesome seeing your channels to start growing over the last few months. So I want to see that continue to happen. So
yes.
That's really exciting. I'll shut up for a minute and just let you.
No,
was there anything you wanted to mention as well before we start on Hogwarts?
Yeah, there will be, just to let you guys know, if you are listening to us live, there is going to be probably like a, 30-ish minute, maybe like 20-minute break. My wife traveled to New York. She just wants to chit chat as she gets kind of acclimated to things at New York at night. So what we're going to do for the live stream, we're just going to pop on like a BRB kind of tag and everything. And then we're just going to play some chill lo-fi music just while that's going. And then if you're listening to us on the on Spotify or Apple or wherever it is, it's just going to instantly cut. So you'll have the power of movie magic on your side. If you're watching us live, you'll just enjoy a cool music stream for a little while. But yeah, outside of that, I got nothing. I think we could hop in. I guess I will say, I guess regarding Hogwarts Legacy for Max and I, we just like games and we just wanted to play games that we liked. We like Hogwarts. I I personally don't even like J.K. Rowling, but it's so like that stuff doesn't matter to me when it comes to video games. For me, it was just like about having fun, and I've made a lot of good experiences between me, my wife, and all my friends. So if there are some comments maybe regarding the fact that we did play the game, we get it, but just know that like I don't know, we just had fun with the game, and we don't really care about the politics behind it all.
Yeah, no, well said, Tyler. Yeah, for sure. I mean, unfortunately, it's just a very tumultuous game to be talking about in today's world, which is definitely a shame. I feel like people are unfortunately way more popular than us are kind of getting put through the ringer for it. But I agree with you. I definitely don't agree with any of J.K. Rowling's stances. But it is one of those things where I love the world of Hogwarts and Harry Potter ever since I was a child, and that hasn't changed. And I'm excited to be able to experience probably the best Harry Potter game I've ever played in my entire life. And I'm just really excited to share that experience with you all that are listening, and with Tyler as well, because I thought I was a big Harry Potter fan. Tyler is even more of a Harry Potter fan. Like books, everything. Like we love the universe of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Tyler, do you want to start us off? Like, how do you feel about Hogwarts Legacy?
Yeah, I mean, a good way to talk about like segueing into what you said with like the universe. I feel like I've been to Universal Studios, but I went the first year. So I went year one of it, or maybe year zero, I guess what would be called. And it didn't have all the other stuff. It just had, they were just starting to convert that section of the park into, the Hogwarts scene and whatnot. But I say that because, it looked really cool. I felt it was like the way to experience the Hogwarts world, or Harry Potter world, because it was more than just Hogwarts, but it was a good way to experience the Harry Potter world in the real world. And I've heard it's only gotten like better because now they have like Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley and all this kind of stuff. So I hear it's even better. And I feel like outside of being able to experience the Harry Potter world in the real world, this is by far the best way to experience the Harry Potter world in the virtual space. Because
absolutely.
I've been seeing like some of these TikTok trends that have been going around, where someone will read an excerpt from the book, specifically a part of the book that'll like explain the scene, and then they'll go to that exact location. Like for example, did you see the one with the prefect bathroom?
I did not. I saw the one with when they go to the kitchens.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
But it's just the attention to detail is just, to your point, is just staggering. You can tell there's a lot of love.
And they're like, so the guy's reading the excerpt, and it's like Harry walks in and it's all marble, and then there's there's the painting. It just, I don't know, it just like kept going and going and going about all these like descriptions of what it looked like, and I was like, this is wild that this is in the game, like almost to the T of exactly the way they wanted to. So you can see the passion, and it's really fun. I will say that the one interesting thing is like it is super legit and it looks fantastic, and it does kind of die off after a while, like the awe. You still find secrets throughout the castle, which is great. That is what helps. But as far as like outside the castle, like it's pretty similar everywhere else, like where you're traveling to like different small towns and like going in the wilderness and fighting monsters or enemies and whatnot. So some of that like awness does fade like naturally. I wouldn't expect it to be like there the whole time. But they do it well. It drags that like feeling of excitement drags on to a very long distant, because you start got the hiccups. You start the game and that's like the initial hype. You're walking around your house. you're exploring the castle, you know, and then you like leave and then you get to explore like Hogsmeade. And then it's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then like you do some big mission that's like inside of a dungeon like area and you're like, well, this is crazy. And then you get a broom, you're like, whoa. And then you know, eventually you get to like fly monsters and you get your room of requirement. So it's like after like the oddness of like the world dies off, then it's like little things that are just like epic. Like the room of requirement is one of my favorite features in this entire game. I think it's so well done. It's like
so incredible.
They did it so much better than like Animal Crossing and all those games. Like it's so cool how you could do like the designing of your room. I love it.
It's smooth. Like
yeah,
I was shocked at how smooth like the placement of, like you said, like these collectibles you can get of different furniture items, and like placing them in the room of requirement is like seamless. Like it's really impressive how they did that.
Yeah, so I say like once that dies off of like what the world is like, it still surprisingly keeps you going of like fun, exciting things, which I thought was pretty hard to do, especially with like an open world. And it doesn't, I don't know, like the world's big and I would love to do DLC for it, but I know there's been like talks about they may not do DLC. Who knows? I mean, that could be a discussion for later. But yeah, I'd say overall, my overall opinion is that the game is really fun. The combat's good. I think flying is the worst. I don't know why, but flying feels really bad to me on the broom. It just feels kind of clunky. But outside of that, the combat's really fun. Walking around like controls wise, gameplay wise, really good. There's no like obnoxious crafting system that blows, which is always great. Sometimes those open world RPGs do some garbage like crafting system, like Pokemon did one and it's awful, but so I'm glad they don't have anything like that.
For sure. Did you and if you don't mind me asking, how far into the game are you? Like, have you beaten the main story or?
No, I have not beaten the main story. I just got to the part where it's like I don't think it would be spoilers, but it's like you pretty much like after you get through all the initial crap and like figure out all your spells and stuff, you gotta do trials. Trials are like the main bulk. I just got to that part.
Okay, cool. So. Nice. I think story wise we're around the same area. I would say. I just like unlocked flying mounts.
Cool.
So you may be a little bit ahead of me actually. I don't know. But yeah, I'm about 26 hours in as well, which is a lot. But it's also because I spent a lot of time just being a completionist and trying to like 100% all the different sections of the map and stuff like that. And I like found all the field pages in Hogsmeade and you know, all the collectibles and stuff like that. And the castle, I'm not even like close to finishing that, but I'm actually the most excited about exploring the castle and finding every single thing that it has to hide.
There's so much. They did such a good job with like hiding things.
They did. I'll have something to say about that as well. I would say in a minute. I'm exactly on the same page as you, Tyler. Like the first, I would say 3 hours that I had playing this game, I was just grinning ear to ear. Yeah. I felt like a kid. I felt like a kid again. I was like,
the book just came to life.
Yeah, like it just like you know, every time the music would swell into one of the songs that we know and love, like I just got chills. Like I'm not gonna lie, I got a little teary eyed when you like first see the castle, and at the beginning of the game, and I was like, wow, like I can't believe this is real. Like this is unbelievable. And I'm sure a lot of the things in this game, from an open world game perspective, are definitely not like the best of any open world game I've ever seen. I think the nostalgia and the love of the you know, the material is very much outshining that for me, for sure. I chose Hufflepuff specifically for my house. My wife played for a little bit. She had to stop playing because she was getting too much anxiety from having to battle absolutely disgusting spiders.
There's so many. I think there's too many. There's so many spiders.
In this game are terrifying.
They dig underground and like, oh my gosh.
The way they move and everything. Ugh. Like every time I have a mission that's in a spider nest area or whatever, like I just like,
yeah. It's kind of the worst.
Yeah, there's way too many spiders. That's a bad takeaway. Takeaway. Like, why did you put so many spiders in this game? No, but you know, I really loved just like you said, the attention to details, specifically in the castle, for sure. I mean, it was just so amazing. I probably spent the first, like I said, like 5 hours of the game, not even going to the main quests after I had, you know, the openness to move around. I really just kind of went through the entire castle into the different sections and like climbed the astronomy tower all the way to the top. And I was like, it's so amazing how finally in my head I was able to click and like make sense of where everything was
that took a while, but it is nice,
right? Because it's huge. And but it all made sense. Like I was like, wow, this even like kind of almost shot for shot looks like the movie, like the movies themselves. Like when I went into the astronomy tower, like you get to the very top and you like, I was immediately hit by the thought of like, oh my gosh, this is where that happens with Dumbledore. Like I was like, wow, like this is crazy. And then I kept wondering to myself, I'm like, can I find the Chamber of Secrets?
You can find the bowl.
Scriptorium.
You can find that.
Yeah, I did that side quest with Sebastian actually last night, which was really cool. And Ominous Gaunt, which is a great call. Like that's another thing. There's just great callbacks that are just a love letter to people that have read the books.
Yeah, like Peeves finally shows up.
Yeah,
which is crazy that Peeves is not in the shows or the movies that much, because in the book Peeves is everywhere. It's so wild. Everywhere.
And he is everywhere in this game. Like I don't think like I probably see him the most out of the NPCs.
Yeah, that's true.
Just like running around, juggling, or like grabbing something from a student and running away with it. And that's the other.
Are you like me? Do you walk around instead of flue powder?
Yes,
for the most part. Yeah.
In Hogwarts, like the castle itself, I never use flue powder. I walk everywhere. And just because I'm always doing Revelio and seeing if I can hear the chime or if I can like see a chest somewhere that I could get. But it's also to see those moments, right? You see Ominous, who is blind. He's a Slytherin who is led around by his wand, which is really cool. You can see all the other students that you've come to know. You know, it's interesting for those that have played the game. Like when it comes to the students, you really only become really close with Natty, who's a Gryffindor, and Sebastian, who's a Slytherin. But every other student has a side quest, like a moment with you, which is great. Like I really love that you have a mission with some of these characters are more fleshed out than others, I would definitely say. But it's still cool to like interact with, like, I think there's like at least 6 or 7 students from every house that are named and have more than your typical NPC style of dialogue.
Some of them, man, those poor voice actors. I hate sounding mean to voice actors, but I don't know. No, some of the choices that you guys picked is it's a little rough.
Like
very like nasal. Oh, dude,
Arnold I can't. It's like Arnold or something. He's like, "Well, hello there. Do you want to help me find the treasure map?" And
that is like, that's exactly how it sounds. This is rough.
Yeah, and I was just like,
rough.
Who are you?
Yeah.
But like I really enjoyed that. I loved every mission that included, getting to meet a new teacher. I don't know if you've done this, but if you go back to the classrooms, you can actually talk to the teachers again, and they have additional dialogue that like explains their backstories. And
I did it with the charms guy. That's how. Remember when I was telling you how I was like, oh, he's a Slytherin? I did it then because I was chatting with him, and that's when I noticed his he had like the snake kind of like, they almost had like charms on his coat, like buttons in a way. Yeah.
With the buttons, which is great. I love the style. I love just getting to learn, like Professor Hecat, her backstory is incredible. I really like Professor Sharp's backstory. Garlick's cool. I don't think there's a single teacher in the game that I dislike.
Yeah, they did a good job.
I do feel kind of wary of Fig.
I know. I get why now. We were behind you a little bit, and that mission.
Yeah.
One of the specific missions, I was talking to Julie about it. I was like, I get why Max is a little weary about him now. His dialogue during a very big turning point in the game of like, okay, now you're about to set off onto the main part of this. He acted super odd during the whole encounter, and I was like, now, and there are some bad writing portions, a little stuff straggles here and there. So I was like, I couldn't tell if it was that, because your character will oddly butt in onto people in their conversations, but the same happens to you. And it was like, sometimes I'm like, wait, was this just like kind of poorly written, or was like the intention to just be like, I'm kind of a jerk, so I'm just gonna like cut you off. It's really weird.
Oh, I know, it's so funny. But I mean, it's still really great. I will say, like, I mean, I could kind of take or leave the story. It hasn't really grabbed me. It's interesting, but like, I don't know. I feel like it would have been, and I know this is just wishful thinking, but I think I would have enjoyed just a typical year at Hogwarts story. Like let me do classes and try to like ace my owls, actually, like.
Yeah, I mean the exploration part of it's cool. I like that.
I love it.
I like that it is goblins as kind of like an enemy, which I think is kind of neat.
It is cool.
You don't get that often. But yeah, the story is good enough to where I'm like, man, I do kind of want to just figure out what's all going on here.
Right.
But then it's like not enough to where I'm not playing it every day. There are some other stuff I'm playing, and when I do play it, I explore side missions before I do the main. So it's like, it's good. It's just not like the best, but the game's massive. So it's like, you're going to have some areas where you're going to like kind of falter a little bit.
Yeah, that's actually kind of a good segue into just some of the small things. They're very small, that because I still love the game. It's definitely so far like my favorite game I've played this year.
Yeah.
I don't think by any means it'll probably be like my game of the year. Especially now that like the magic and like the has, to your point, is kind of worn off, especially as you start, traveling around the world of it. But there's really only a few things I wanted to mention that I don't know if you feel the same way about the game. So I find I agree with you about flying. I think when you fly with animals, it feels a lot better.
Okay.
There's a weightness to it.
Okay.
At least to me. When you're on a broom, it does feel very flat. Like I don't feel like I'm really doing much other than just like moving like slowly.
Yeah.
Even though I like no matter how many upgrades I get to like improve the speed of my broom.
Yeah.
I didn't love either how, and this is, like I said, this is a nitpick, how the brooms are all basically the same, just they're cosmetic. And I was like, I actually would kind of like to have to pay more for a better broom. Like, that was the whole thing from the books. It's like, oh, you have a Nimbus 2000, I have a Nimbus 2001, or I have a Firebolt.
Because someone sells like a $5,000 broom, but it doesn't do anything different.
I got that one.
It's just a broom.
It's just a broom.
That's
with
so
like
weird.
Yeah, it's
a bummer.
It's all like, that's kind of like my main complaint, I would say, is I feel like the game is almost too big. This is a complaint I have for a lot of open world games. Like, if you don't have substance to give, don't make your game overly huge. Like it's just not needed. And as I'm going to complete this game 100% because that's what I do, but a lot of the novelty of what I'm collecting is definitely worn off. Like, it's not like in Ghosts of Tsushima where like everything you're doing is actively, slowly but surely liberating your island of home. This is just random stuff. Like, there's no reason there needs to be 95 Merlin trials. Like
oh my gosh, I know.
there's no,
No, not at
there's
all.
absolutely no need for that. Like, and I get like it opens up more room for clothes, but it's like, hey, well, I don't need that many clothes anyway. Like I sell every like that's my
Yeah.
main way of currency is selling clothes.
Yeah.
Um,
Which I love that when you get it, it automatically turns into a cosmetic piece. That feature alone,
yeah,
I
that is
personally
cool.
think a lot of games should adopt because
Yes,
like
I do like that.
all these open world games that you play, it's so fun just to like sometimes you just like look goofy. Like I was rolling around in like full knight armor for a few missions just because it was hilarious. But like
Yeah,
other games, like they totally should add that into other games of like the second you collect a piece and get it, it's like in your like transmog.
in transmog, so you can
uh
sell it, but
oh,
you'll
it's
always
so
be there
nice.
available.
Such a good little feature.
Yeah, that is a great kind of going back to positives. The costumes, like the outfits in this game are excellent. Like they're
Yeah.
really cool, very detailed.
They did a good
Um,
job. Like they don't
yeah,
clip that much too, so, which is surprising because some of them are
no,
pretty intricate, but they look pretty good on like the two models that I've seen, like the two character models. I'm like, oh, that's
for
not
both the
bad.
female,
Yeah,
yeah, for both the female and the male. I think part of that is because the outfit itself is intricate, but the way it formats on the player
I was the same.
is the same. So like for men or for the male character, if you're a wizard or a witch, if you want to pronounce yourself that way, it it's a cloak.
Yeah,
You have the outfit and the cloak will always hit like there's like three different like ways the cloak can look,
mm,
but it's the same format across the board. It just different style depending on what you're wearing.
yeah,
But I love the outfits. I think that they did a great job of really digging that in. But like I was saying, like there's just no need for it's like 1,000+ collectibles across the entire world of it, and it's taking me
wild.
forever.
That's a lot.
And I know, and in my head, I just keep thinking to myself, man, I wish I wish this map was cut in half, and I wish that the main areas of collectibles were Hogwarts, Hogsmeade, and then maybe the Forbidden Forest or like another area.
Yeah,
Like, I'd rather spend 30 hours in a tight knit open world game and 100% it than have to spend probably 50 to 60 hours to 100% this game.
well, I guess like okay, then I'll ask this one too, because
Sure.
your definition of 100%, are you gonna do all the other classes? Like, did they say? Don't you say you have to do Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, and Ravenclaw to get the full 100%?
Well, yes, I probably will at some point.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking about 100%, I'm mainly talking about like in my main game is Hufflepuff. Like you have
Okay.
that.
You talking about like the
I
book?
want
Okay, yeah,
100%.
yeah,
I
yeah.
want 100% the book.
Okay.
They did do that dumb thing with the PlayStation trophies where you have to get up to a certain point in the
The other
in the game's main story for
mm,
each house. Each house has like an individual trophy for reaching like the map room. We got it for Gryffindor and Hufflepuff, so I only have to do it again for Slytherin and Ravenclaw. But
oof.
it's not one that I need to do anytime soon. This is definitely a game I'm going to want to replay.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'll just wait to platinum it
Yeah.
later.
Okay.
I'll get all the other trophies and then just know that when I come back, I'll play as Ravenclaw and repeat to play Slytherin, and we just go through, or the other way around, vice versa.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a one and done for me for sure. I don't think
so?
I don't think I could see myself like. I thought about like, oh, it'd be kind of fun to be a Slytherin and then just become like a jerk the whole time.
Use for unforgivable curses.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, I don't even know if I would like really would want to do that because there was like other things like I noticed that one annoying thing that I have is in their talent system, you can't technically get all the talents, which I think the talents need to be balanced anyways because they're so overpowered and it kind of makes the game boring because one, you can become level 45, but everybody else maxes at level 40, which already means you're 5 levels above them. then you get all the perks, and like the perks, bro, people are killing trolls with cabbages and like spitting Venus flytraps because it's just so OP. And I'm like, that part, when you talk about how it's like too big, that's where I'm kind of like, man, they tried to fill in this big world with like monsters, like high level trolls or things like this. But like, they're still easy to kill because you gave us like OP talents. And then I'm like, why is there not a dragon I can fight? There's a bunch of dragons to see, but I was watching I think I was watching Gamer Ranks talk about it. It was them or somebody else. They did kind of like a couple 10 things you should know about Hogwarts Legacy or whatnot. You like never fight a dragon in the game, which that was kind of surprising because
I know
dragons are like pretty big in like Harry Potter world. Like you always, even like the team has fought like a dragon in a sense. I mean, well, heck, Harry had to go against one during the Goblet of Fire, right? So it's like, I was just kind of surprised they chose not to like, I don't know, have like a secret dragon lair that you could like go into in this open world. I don't, yeah.
Right, or like even fight the Kraken, like the tentacles of the Kraken in like a fun,
you
like
see it, but you don't fight it. It's so weird.
I know. Yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah, that's really, I would say, my main complaint of the game is it's too big, and the stuff in it is not like everything is moving you towards getting more outfits and like collectibles and experience, which is great. But it doesn't feel fulfilling after a while. It just starts feeling like something to like check off the list. And I feel like the best open world games are able to not make it feel like that. Like Ghost of Tsushima is one of the most recent ones that comes to mind of like, I never felt tired of doing everything in that world because there was a purpose. I'm like, I'm liberating this island. Like I'm driving out every Mongol I find, you know, you know, like it
and
felt
it's
good,
not,
you know?
It's not open world enough to be like a open world. I don't know what the term would be, but like your Fallouts and like your Skyrims and stuff. Like it's not, it's not that you do whatever you want to kind of open world. Yeah. And so there's like structure, but it's structure in a big world. It's like, it's how you and I talked about how, was it Outer Worlds? And like they did it really well of like, it's open world in that like Skyrim sense, but they did the map to where it's instance little zones that have like, they're big enough to where there's stuff to explore, but small enough to where like if you explore for like 10 to 15 hours, you've probably discovered it. And it was like a solid, like that 10 to 15 hours was pretty loaded. So once you're done, you're done.
Exactly. Like with this open world outside of Hogsmeade and Hogwarts, those two areas are excellent. Every town or every village is a hamlet. Like they all kind of look the same generically.
Very copy and paste.
Right. Like you have like the same kind of NPCs. There's, you know, in the world itself, there's like, you know, little like rundown castles and stuff like that because you're in the Scottish Highlands, and like in a way it's beautiful. Like it looks good for the most part. I mean, it's not a, you know, immaculate looking game, especially when you get outside, but like you know, it's decent enough. But yeah, like the open world just, it feels kind of, it falls flat for me a little bit. I think they would have done a lot better for themselves if they just really cut that open world in half and just focused on Hogwarts. Like I honestly wouldn't have been mad if we had to stay on the Hogwarts castle and the grounds up to Hogsmeade for the entire game.
Which is what I thought. I genuinely thought that was going to be the game. Was like Hogwarts to Hogsmeade and then like some of the Forbidden Forest around it. I did not think, and I was pretty content with being like, oh yeah, it'll just be like Hogwarts and Hogsmeade. That'll be fine. Because like I thought Hogsmeade was going to be a lot bigger than it is. And so I thought it was going to be like just take up like a bunch of stuff. And like the Forbidden Forest would be big because Hogwarts is already massive. But yeah, I was pretty surprised with how big they made the game. Yeah,
I hope that, because I mean, this game has sold already over 20 million copies. Like this is probably like the most money, the biggest game that, you know, Avalanche has ever sold.
Yeah, they sell 12 million copies. Apparently this article was written on February 24th.
12 million. Okay, so not 20 million, but
And
like
they've just generated
still,
$850 million in sales in 2 weeks.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, dude. This game is like I would be
That's
shocked
nuts.
if they did not make a sequel to this game. And I feel like they set it up, and I can only speak to where I'm at in the game now, so I haven't seen the ending. I don't know if it ends on a cliffhanger or
Yeah.
anything like that. But I think there's a reason they started you as a fifth year, for more than one reason. You know, like with open world games like this, they tend to be in ways of trilogies. So it's like, okay, that makes sense. Like fifth year, sixth year, seventh year. You know, like you end your thing at Hogwarts. I could be talking out of my butt, but like in my head, that makes sense. Of like, okay, like this is another trilogy style game that like it could be very successful.
Yeah.
Like I said, I hope that if they do it again, they tighten the screws a little bit and really just pay attention to the school, because the school itself is the best part about the entire game. It's just like you said, the exploration, even the like using Alohomora to get into the faculty offices and like read notes and
I'm so excited to unlock that. There are so many locked doors in this game. They
oh my
are
God.
everywhere. It's kind of insane. There's so many locked things.
I've unlocked most of them.
Oh, it's wild. It's wild.
But it's fun because you get to go in, like they lead to really interesting places, and like you see like where the teachers live, or you find something from the books that you never thought you would experience in the game. And like the school itself is so rich in and of itself, you know, like and to lead to areas or forbidden areas like that could have been dungeons, you know. It's like the school is massive, like that could have been everything.
How does it load? You're on a PS5. I'm on a Series X playing it. How does it load for you? So for me, sometimes I'll hit a door and I'll get like a little loading screen. Not a loading screen, but like the door has like a spinny thing around circle. It. So it does happen on the PS5. Okay.
It does, yeah.
Outside of that, performs really well. But it's pretty well performed game. I was surprised because it's pretty seamless walking around. No loading screens, nothing. It's kind of great.
Yeah, Avalanche did a great job with this engine. The one thing I will say is I personally feel kind of floaty when I'm walking, especially when I have to traverse platforms in like some of like in some of the dungeons or some of the caves.
I see what you mean. Floaty's that's a great way to describe it. It does have it like
feels
that.
Like I'm not fully grounded into the world as a character. I like there are definitely moments where I feel like, okay, my character is literally like on a screen of like, you know, ones and zeros here a little bit.
You know what is kind of interesting though about like the Avalanche software is like they've also made like Disney Infinity and stuff. They've made so Avalanche software, the games that they did before Hogwarts Legacy are legit like all Disney. Disney Infinity 3, 2, 1, Cars, Toy Story, Bolt, Chicken Little, Tack 2, Staff of Dreams. They did Tack, which is great.
I love the Tack games.
Dragon Ball Z Sagas randomly. They did the Rugrats games, and then they did a Mortal Kombat trilogy. I'm not really sure what that was on the PlayStation. But yeah, like for like the past...
Did they do Mad Max too? Because there's a Mad Max game.
Off-Road Challenge. No, they did Hannah Montana Spotlight World Tour.
Okay.
But yeah, Hogwarts Legacy has been their most recent thing that hasn't been like Disney movies. It's just kind of interesting.
Wow. That's a good... Oh, excuse me.
Megan.
That's impressive.
It
like
is
good
impressive.
For them. Like this is definitely kind of their breakout game for sure.
Oh, okay. Wait, this makes sense. In 2005, Disney Interactive Studios bought them because their parent company is Disney Interactive Studios and Warner Brother Games. So
that's crazy.
So they went from being Disney from 2005 to 2016, which their last game was Cars 3, which was 2017, but that was probably one of those like it was already in the works kind of a thing. Yeah, and then probably. Warner Brothers bought them in 2017, and obviously the first Warner Brothers, themed game that they put out is Hogwarts. So that's kind of cool. It'd be cool to see what they're going to do afterwards. I mean, Warner Brothers has a lot of stuff. whether it's going
Yeah.
to be Harry Potter still or maybe something else. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. That could be really cool. Man.
Yeah, one thing that I will say too is pretty nice about the game that I was surprised on is the combat. It is a
Yeah.
lot better than I really, because I questioned a lot, how are you going to make wand play like fun in the game?
Yeah.
And it works pretty well. Like the lock-on system's pretty decent, and the
Yeah.
combos is really cool. If they didn't have the comboing where it's like if you pull someone, you hit them like 2 times, but then you push them, can hit them 3, and then Levioso, and then that's really well done. I was pretty skeptical, and I was pleasantly surprised. How do you feel like the combat does? Do you enjoy it? Do you think it's like weird?
No, I love the combat. I think it's great. I never get tired of it.
Yeah.
I at this point unlocked the majority of spells. I think there's
Mhm.
only 2 spells left to unlock. I'm not playing with the unforgivable curses, so
Okay.
I can't speak to those. But um, I think the only 2 spells I don't have yet are Bombarda, which I'm very excited to get because I'm
Mhm.
tired of. I feel like Confringo is very weak at this point for
Yeah.
me. Um, and it seems like a higher level Confringo.
Yeah.
And then there's like a transformation spell where you can like turn someone into like a chicken or like any like inanimate object, basically like a
Oh,
transfiguration.
that's fun.
Um, so those are the 2 left that I haven't gotten yet. To your point, I love finding the combos, and I actually really love reading the bios of the different enemies you fight. You fight
Oh yeah, that's
and
cool.
see what spells can really hit them hard.
Yeah.
Um, like one combo that I probably use more so than anything else is I use Glacius
Mm.
to freeze the enemy, and then I use oh, I can't remember the full name of it, but it's the one where it's like a slice and
Oh
it
yeah, I think
shatters.
it's pretty cool. Sharp gives you that one.
Yeah, and I find that actually for most enemies that almost KOs them in one hit. Like it's a very powerful combo. I really love using Flipendo to like just like send them like spiraling into the air, and then I use like Descendo or um, Repulso to just keep them away from me, because that is kind of the name of the game in this. Is like there's no close combat. Like you do not want enemies
No.
near you.
No, you
Like you
definitely
want
not.
them. You want enemies as far away from you as possible,
They
unless you're
will
doing.
wreck you.
Yeah, they will wreck you. They hit hard. That is the one thing. Like when I'm fighting trolls or giant spiders, is like sometimes they'll just like run at me so fast and I barely have time to roll away. To your point with the talents, there's one talent that is like a lifesaver. It's like I think it was literally the first talent I got, where it's like if you hold circle
Oh yeah, the dash.
when you roll, you like dash and like teleport a little bit, like almost like a small apparate. Um,
Yeah,
and
it's it's
that's like a
kind of fun.
godsend.
That reminds me of a spell called Blink in WoW, and I've noticed it in other games too. For whatever reason, whenever you have like a magic character, it's very popular to give you like that like dashing ability. And so I thought that was
Yeah,
kind of fun that they did this in Hogwarts, because I was like, well, I mean, yeah, we're a magic user, and I was like, oh, that's just, I don't know, it's like fun like D&D lore like things that they added in, because it's not like they ever talk about anything like that in the books or anything. There's
oh
no
no,
there's
yeah,
no like magical dashing that people are doing, but yeah, it's fun.
no, yeah, I like it a lot. And I don't know, I really actually like using the ancient magic. Like
Oh yeah, those are fun.
it has a few different options. Like I think it like hits enemies differently depending on what the enemy is.
Hmm.
Like probably my favorite one is against spiders. Actually, is like sometimes when you use ancient magic, you kind of like shrink them and pull you to them, and then you just stomp on them
Oh
and just
yeah.
like squash them. It's
Yeah,
so
it's satisfying.
satisfying. Yeah, I love it. I think overall the game does a great job of with the combat. That's definitely been a highlight for me. I would say those are actually the 2 highlights: combat and exploration.
Mm.
I mean, overall, I think the game is great. I really enjoy it. I wouldn't say it's amazing. I think I would give it like a solid like 7.5 or 8. but just like you said, I think that's the perfect way to say it. Like the magic keeps a hold of you for a little while, and then once you've kind of seen everything that the castle has to offer, which will take a while, and you get into the open worldness of it, that's kind of where it kind of falls flat a little bit as an open world game.
I would say combat, that is my highlight for sure. And then maybe like not exploration of the map, but more of like exploration of Hogwarts.
Castle.
I think that would be
that's kind of what
my
I meant
two
there,
main highlights for sure as well.
And
which
the music.
is good. Yeah, dude. Though I will say there's that one Beethoven song that gets played in the castle. It's like Canon 6 or something like that. And gosh. Oh man, I'd be like humming that thing like crazy all day long if I've been playing the game.
Dude, and it's so funny that that's the tower you're in like the most. I feel like.
Oh my gosh. I'm hearing that all the time when I'm playing the game, and I'm like, please. Between that and the flu powder lady, oh my gosh. You know how many times this lady keeps on telling I'm like, lady, shut up. I don't care that you made flu powder. You don't need to know that I'm going on an adventure. Just shut it. It's so annoying.
No, you know what's the most annoying? Seems like every trail leads to Hogsmeade.
Oh gosh, yes. And the best is like you're leaving Hogsmeade. You're legitimately leaving. You're getting on your broom. Looks like every path leads to Hogsmeade. No, I'm leaving. I'm getting out of Hogsmeade. Shut up. This doesn't make any sense. And not every path leads. You can go south of the castle. They'd never leave to Hogsmeade.
Oh my gosh. It's so true.
It is. Oh man. Yeah. There are some interesting choices of repeat dialogue that I don't fully understand, but well, okay. Yeah. 7.5. I would say if I had to give this thing a score as well, I've always looked at 5 being average, and then so you get 5, and then like 7 and 8 are like you're above average, and then your 9s and 10s are just like, stellar, right? And so I think I would give this one probably a solid 7. I think it is an above average game. It's not an 8 because there's a lot of like things that could have done a little bit better, but I would say a solid 7 is what I would give. Give Hogwarts
that's
Legacy.
respectable.
So,
and that's the thing I want to make sure that we understand is like I think it's a good game. Like I think it's a great Harry Potter game, the best one we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
I think they need to tighten the screws a little bit.
Yeah.
To really get it to that stellar level.
It is. It's March. It is our game of the year so far. It will change, but like for now, that's pretty good. If a game could be your game of the year for a little while, I think it says a lot about something. I mean, to even hit that. So that's something that I will say that is nice about it. It is the game of the year right now for us.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I was going to say, is there we had mentioned it. I know we're almost at the hour mark, but the other things I want to mention on our episode today are, it's been a few weeks since we've had an episode, and we've had, a PlayStation State of Play. We've had a Nintendo Direct, and a Pokemon. I don't know what they're called. Pokemon Direct, Pokemon
Presents. That's what they call them. Pokemon Presents.
Thank you. Yeah. Over the past, 3 to 4 weeks, has there been anything from any of those presentations that has really caught your eye that gets you excited for anything that is going to be coming out this year?
I gotta say, I think the best way to describe that is that I don't know. I haven't been interested in looking at them, and I haven't heard things like on Twitter or seen on like YouTube or anything that has pulled my eye. So I feel like that kind of speaks truth in a sense of like how interesting things have been. Because even with like us, like the way that you, myself, Peter talk, like I feel like even we would have had text conversations talking about, oh, did you guys see this? Did you guys see this? And we haven't had much of that going on. The only thing,
Yeah, I would say really the only one that got me excited was the Nintendo one.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, PlayStation State of Play. There, I mean, they showed off. I think really the only thing of consequence that they showed off was Resident Evil 4 remake,
yeah,
and it looks great. I mean, like
yeah,
it,
it
it
does.
looks like, but that's a game we know. You know, like that's a game where it's
Yeah,
like
I already know I'm
it,
gonna like it. I liked
right.
it
And I already
when
know
it
I'm gonna
played on the
love it. Like
PS2.
right, exactly. I've played that game so many times, which is crazy for me because I normally am a chicken when it comes to scary games. But like I know that game in and out. It does look like they're adding new stuff to it, which is exciting. But
Yeah.
you know, I will
Oh,
mention if you.
Advance
Oh, what's that?
Wars. Advance Wars was one from the Nintendo
Yes.
that I did like. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Nintendo stuff. It's hard for me to get into Nintendo games, but when I was watching it, I would say out of all the ones that were shown, that one looked pretty interesting to me.
I am shocked that you were not excited for the Professor Layton game.
Oh gosh, yeah, I forgot that was a thing. Yes. Yeah, that
Yep.
too. Yeah, Professor Layton. It's not showing up on here. I'm on Nintendo's website looking because I was trying to remind myself. That's not showing up on their little websites. That's why I didn't think of it. But yes,
It's a,
Professor Layton was on there.
yeah, it's like a small teaser, like Professor Layton in the New World of Steam.
Oh gosh, dude, being able to play that game at like a solid 1080p versus on a little handheld DS is gonna be awesome. I'm so
It'd be
excited.
amazing. The only thing I was sad about was that they didn't announce a new Phoenix Wright game because I want
Mm,
another Ace Attorney so bad.
yeah, yeah, I was kind of bummed. I think the reason why Nintendo hasn't pulled me in so much recently is like I've been still really wanting to have like a Wind Waker type of deal come out. I really
Oh,
want like a Wind Waker, like honestly, what they're doing with Metroid or what they did with Metroid, I want them just to do with Wind Waker of like, let's just bring the game over. Like it already looked fine. And then we'll just kind of like maybe enhance like a tad. But like, I feel like I
and
have so many of those games that I'm really wishing could get out of Nintendo. I mean, even like I know a lot of Pokemon fans were really thinking like, oh, Pokemon's gonna be on their Game Boy or GBA classic library, and then
right.
it wasn't. And then they're like, okay, well, you know, Pokemon Day is coming soon, so maybe at the Pokemon Presents they'll talk about it, and they didn't. And it's just like, I don't know. It just feels like there's so much that I'm wanting from Nintendo of certain things that they're not doing.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just like letting myself down because they're not doing it. So I'm like, oh well, bummer.
Well, one thing I would say, don't give up hope because this year I think when it comes to Zelda, they're really focusing on Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
And so my intuition is telling me that like, okay, this year is when it comes to Zelda is going to be absolutely just dedicated to Tears of the Kingdom.
That's true.
And then next year they will probably announce Wind Waker HD,
Yeah.
release
Ugh,
for
that'd be
Switch.
so cool.
I wish that they would do it as like a duology of like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess because both
Yeah.
I truly believe both will come to the Switch.
Yeah.
They're kind of like the last outliers from the Wii U, and I will buy them. But I think
Yeah.
that they saw how successful putting Skyward Sword as a one-off was when it comes to financially, so they're probably just going to release them both as like $60 releases. Because like it's like that with Metroid Prime. I was like, oh man, they should release the Metroid Prime trilogy. Like that came out for the Wii before Metroid Prime 4, and they released Metroid Prime remastered that day, which was huge. And I
Yeah.
want to play it, but I was kind of bummed. I was kind of mad that they released it only the first one. I was like, why didn't you just release all three? Like I was like,
Yeah.
just
And
give it.
Nintendo. So I talked about that in my Pokemon Presents predictions video as well as like Pokemon, which, you know, is Nintendo at this point in a sense, right? But
Yeah,
Nintendo and Pokemon, they love to do those like get ready for this, and it's like, oh, it's a pretty cool trailer. Then they're like, and it's out now, and you're like, oh, dang, wow, that's cool. Like they'll
I
do that
love
a
that.
lot out of anybody, like Microsoft, PlayStation, like all the big boys. Nintendo is very notorious, especially with like apps. If
Yeah,
Nintendo or Pokemon have an app that people play, you can expect new content that day in like a minute after the like direct or whatever is over. I mean, it's boom, it's out. It's so fun.
I love shadow drops, man. And so like that's why I think I personally really enjoyed the Nintendo Direct. The fact that they dropped Metroid Prime like that, like
that is cool.
It's a GameCube game, you know, like, but it's remastered. It's a, in my opinion, it's a perfect game. I truly think Metroid Prime is one of the greatest games of all time. I love Metroid. Metroid Dread was incredible last year. But you know, and to see that it got like it's getting perfect 10s again as a remaster, I'm like, oh, I want to jump back into that game, but I don't want to pay $40 for it. You know, it's like I've played this game so many times.
I do want to play Xenoblade though. That's one I want. I do want to get into Xenoblade after our last podcast. I'm still looking into getting into that one. I was waiting to see how Hogwarts was, and I was like, you know, if I could probably play something else too.
If you want to borrow the first game, let me know because I own it like physically.
Oh, on the Switch?
On the Switch, yeah.
Sweet.
That's actually my next game after I finish Hogwarts Legacy is Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Nice.
And I can't wait because like I've been told it's the greatest of all three of them. And
I'm excited. You got me excited for it.
Yeah, it gets rid of the gacha mechanics of 2 because I think you remember I couldn't even really play 2. I thought the combat was worsened and I didn't like the whole blade system and stuff like that. They kind of went back to basics a little bit for this one, and I think it in the best way.
Did you watch YouTube for the second one to like get the story?
Yes, okay. I watched a 18-hour video.
Solid.
Like that's one of the crazy things about Monolith Soft, man, is like they are kind of that shadow JRPG studio that like no one talks about, except now like Xenoblade has really kind of put them on the map. But these are the guys that made Xenogears, which is one of like the greatest JRPGs from the PlayStation era. Incredible game.
Yeah.
No one plays it. And then like the Xenosaga games, I don't know if you ever remember those. But that was on PS2, but Xenoblade is really what got people's attention. And then Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is the last one that they're doing of this series. And during the Nintendo's Direct, they kind of showed off. They always do like a DLC chapter, like a final chapter. And in the trailer they gave for the DLC chapter, it kind of shows like, oh, like now in this final arc, you're gonna have all 3 heroes like Shulk, Rex, and
oh, that's big. That's cool.
Yeah, where it's like, but they're all older. They all look like they're like 10 years older. And so it really looks like a finite end to the story arc of these 3 games of like, okay,
that's cool.
This is gonna be like the true like final battle.
Yeah, that's cool. That kind of reminds me of like those games that you like so much. Oh no, Max cut off. What a great face he's making though. For those who are watching live.
In this DLC.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah. No, I'm back.
He's
okay.
back.
Dude. Was I making a face like
oh, bro, it was great. If you were watching live, you had a fun time looking at that.
Oh man.
Yeah, you did cut out though, but you're back. You're good.
Oh, you said that series I like. Are you talking about the Legend of Heroes Trails game?
Yeah. Where like people get older and stuff in the games and whatnot.
I love it. I can't get enough of it. I still wish I could get you and Peter into Trails because I want someone to talk about these games with. And like no one plays these games.
I know.
Like,
they are fun.
Like anime in JRPG form. It's so perfect.
Yeah, I definitely can. I mean, I have the one on the computer. It's like, I tell you, when I get on my computer, so many other things just like pull me in. It's so hard. I know. So hard.
Dude, you really don't have to force yourself. They're slow burns. You really gotta love narrative-driven games to like the Trail series because the majority of it is dialogue. It's just world building and people talking and characters interacting, and I live for that kind of stuff. But it is fun for sure.
I'm trying to see. I don't really see anything else though, as far as kind of like upcoming stuff. Hoping E3 probably just isn't going to exist anymore. But the summertime is still when a lot of stuff come out, and we're hitting spring now, and so I'm assuming probably by like late April and May, hoping we'll start hearing some things about at least some big stuff coming, you know.
Yeah, I hope so too, for sure. Because yeah, we kind of have an overview of what's coming up to June, I think,
Yeah.
for the most part. And really, the only thing that's really caught my eye outside of another Trails game is Final Fantasy 16. You know,
Yeah.
that comes out in June, and that's going to be huge. They actually released a preview of FF16, and it looks like it's like Game of Thrones meets Devil May Cry.
It does.
Like combat wise, like, and honestly, I'm kind of here for it. Like, if Final Fantasy is going the route of action RPG, fine. Like, I'll try it out. I honestly think this might be the first Final Fantasy that I'll love since 12, mainly because it's the writers from 14. Like, it's the 14 team making this game, and the story looks incredible. So
yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'm actually looking at our previous one, what I was looking forward to. Oh yeah, Jedi Survivor.
yep,
That was one I'm looking forward to.
Does that come out this month, or is that April?
Yeah, March 17th.
And
then yeah, Baldur's Gate, that's one I was looking forward to. Judas, still looking forward to that one. And you know, Octopath Traveler 2 looks pretty good. Doesn't look too bad.
Yeah,
it's still that separated story, but I heard it's like not terrible. Like it's pretty decent.
Yeah, I've actually heard the same. Because I couldn't really get past the first chapters in the first game. Like, the game looks beautiful, or the first game was beautiful, but it's just kind of monotonous. Like, it just kind of felt like I was doing the same thing over and over every time I hit a town. The second game I've heard is much better in that regard, but I honestly think I'll wait until it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, you think it's going to come to Xbox? I heard that it's not. It's only on PlayStation right now. It's on PlayStation, the Switch, and Steam. And I guess it was because, like, so the first Octopath didn't hit PlayStation, but it was on Xbox Game Pass. And so now it made like, because it's Square, and they may be having like making deals more now with PlayStation. So
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like I could wait until it's like on PlayStation Extra or Game Pass if it comes to Xbox.
Yeah.
And it would probably.
I think it would probably become cheap too. I don't think Octopath Traveler at this point. I don't know if you still have to pay full price. I mean, you may, but I'd be a little surprised. I mean,
you'd have to pay full price on Nintendo, but that's probably not the other system.
Well, I guess like if you get it used maybe from like GameStop, you may be able to like save some money here and there. So that could be an option, at least for like the Switch.
For sure.
But I don't think I'd pay $60 for it.
No. Dude, with this economy right now, I feel like I probably would not buy a game full price outside of Hogwarts Legacy for the rest of the year.
I hate
unless it's I would buy FF16 full price. I would.
Yeah, I think looking at my list, like Baldur's Gate is the only game, and that's not even going to come until like August or September. That'll probably be the only game that
Perfect time to get into Xenoblade.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I will say there are a few games that I am excited that I have right now where it's like they're out now, but I just never got around to playing them last year, or they're already out from this year. Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh yeah, that's so much fun. Of them. Yeah.
I could definitely see that becoming one of my games of the year, or
that's a good
one of my top 10. I've heard it's really great.
Yeah.
So looking forward to playing that. But right now I'm playing Persona 4 Golden on the Game Pass. And
nice.
I'm sucked in again.
That's cool.
I'm probably gonna be playing that for months. Atomic Heart just came out on Game Pass, which is like a BioShock like, I guess.
Yeah, that's a rough one, man. I ain't gonna lie. The story writing on that one is kind of trash.
Oh no. Okay.
It looks great. It looks so good. It's pretty fun, but I think the writing's pretty garbage. It's just it's just awkward.
Then I won't play it then. I don't have enough time to waste on it.
I would say pass, maybe come back to it later, because it is fun. The world's really cool. The visuals are fantastic, and it does very much play like BioShocky, But the
Okay.
dude, he's kind of annoying, and the dialogue,
That's what I've heard.
it's
People
just
are
kind
like,
of odd.
he was like, I think a review I read of Atomic Heart right before this call, actually, or before our podcast. Someone was saying, I thought we were past the meatheads of the 360 era.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of like F-bomb dropping, and it's kind of like it's one of those like you feel like he's kind of dropping F-bombs just because, and those kind of guys are
Yeah.
just kind of annoying, and that is such the vibe he gives
Dude,
off.
that is how I felt about Deathloop. Like I wanted to play Deathloop.
Really? That's how that's like?
Yeah. Deathloop is
Wow.
like super heavy on language, and like
Wow. I
normally
didn't know
that doesn't
that.
bother me, but like it was just like every other word, and I was just like, dude, like
Wow, that's crazy.
what is going on? I did see that Ghostwire Tokyo is coming to PlayStation Extra in a few weeks. I'm
Nice.
actually really excited to play that.
Nice.
That game's like right up my alley.
Yeah.
And then The Quarry is out right now for Extra for free.
Yes.
And I want to play that. I want to get.
I think
looks
you'd like
the
it.
one. I think I would too. You know, I really loved Until Dawn.
Yeah.
So I think I feel like The Quarry would be a great palate cleanser after Hogwarts Legacy.
It's solid. I would actually encourage. I know you. Well, you don't have to, but like I know you like to get the completion, which I usually think is like don't let anybody die. I watched
Right.
Rad Brad do it, and he did it without any guides. It was pretty. It does a pretty decent job of being like, I think I know what the obvious path here is.
Yeah.
But it was. I was impressed. I was like, dang, no one died on his first playthrough, and I was like, that's pretty good. I'm pretty sure when I played Until Dawn, someone died in like the first 10 minutes.
Oh yeah. Same. No, it's funny you mention that with games like that, like Until Dawn, that like are very much like replayability of like you need to keep replaying the game to see every ending, to see every moment. I very much the first time around go in blind and just kind of go with my like intuition of like
that's like it's your quote unquote real ending that you get. Like that's the raw of like, oh yeah, if I was in this world, this is what my ending would be.
Would I survive?
Yeah. Yeah. How many people die in the world that I'm in?
Right. The answer is probably no. I would probably not survive. But I want to see. I just want to save. What's her face from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody?
Bro, yeah. Is it Brenda Song?
Brenda Song. I love her. I think she's great.
Her character is like, so fun in there. Yeah.
It's so funny. That's how I felt about the main girl from Until Dawn. I can't. Her name is escaping me right now.
Oh yeah.
Haley something. The actress.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I love her. I want her to live. And so I was like, I did everything in my power to try and keep her alive.
Bro, side note, did you know that Brenda Song has a kid with Macaulay Culkin? Like they're like together and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, I didn't know that. That's kind of cool.
That's a bizarre pairing if I've ever seen one.
Man. I know. Props to you two. If you two ever listen to this podcast for whatever reason, we don't see it, but you look happy, and that's awesome. Yeah, so good for you.
You guys. I mean, I personally love you both.
I know.
But
yeah, her character though in The Quarry is really fun. She was my favorite character in watching Rad Brad play. She was really cool. Yeah, she did good.
It's definitely one where there was a time I remember when you watched the game, because I mean it is very much like a movie. Like you literally could watch someone play it and you get the experience.
Oh yeah.
And it was $70, and I was like, "There's no way I'm paying $70 for a movie." Like just like. It is it's an interactive movie, you know. But if it's free, I'll definitely play it. I mean,
actually, so Julie just landed, but we've gone for like a whole hour. So if you want to, we could wrap up. We actually should be pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've covered pretty much everything that I wanted to cover. We've kind of talked over what we're excited for over the next few months. Yeah. Didn't know if you had any recommendations for the audience before we sign off for the night.
Yeah, I was trying to think about that earlier. The only thing I could say that I would like recommend somebody go through if they have not, and it's just because it's what I have been going through. I think you actually said this last week though. I can't remember, but it was like the Shadow and Bone series. The new season comes out this month, like in a couple weeks or so. So we re-binged it again to just like get caught up. And with the new season coming out, I'm pretty sure in 2 weeks, that's my recommendation. I highly recommend it. It's a great time to do it because it's gonna definitely end on a like I need more, and there will be more. So that'd be my recommendation.
Yeah, I don't think I actually recommended that show, so that's a great recommendation. Oh, I do love the show. I love the gunslinger.
Oh gosh, yeah, he's the best.
Like the characters in that show are just so great.
Yeah,
it's very much like a YA kind
of
show.
Yeah.
I don't even care, man. I'm just like, this is fun. I like it a lot. Yeah, I'm here for it. My recommendation would probably be The Last of Us, the TV show.
Oh, nice.
Pedro Pascal can do no wrong, man. Like this man is unbelievable. And he, like, I would definitely say as the show's going on, has shown new layers of Joel than I've ever gotten from the video game. That like this is a whole new level of acting that I've seen from Pedro Pascal in this show, and it's unbelievable. This is definitely the best video game adaptation to screen I've ever seen. The show's phenomenal. It's directed and I think directed by the person that did Chernobyl.
It is
a few years ago. And the cinematography, the set design, the characters, the acting, it's just so well done. They add a lot of new things from the game, but it's very faithful to the source material. I would recommend it to people that have played the game, that haven't played the game. There's still 2 episodes to come. It is a heavy story. Like Last of Us is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
It's very sad. It's a very rough story, but it is also one of the shining examples, I would definitely say, for me personally, of what humanity is capable of, both good and bad, in a dystopian kind of world. And so I highly recommend it. It's on HBO Max. Check it out. It is definitely worth your time.
Sweet. Well, thank you all for tuning in and listening to episode 21 of the podcast. We appreciate it, and we definitely look forward to hearing to you guys soon. As Max said earlier, give us a follow on all the platforms, on all Spotify, Apple. Make sure to give us 5 stars and all that good stuff. Like the video on YouTube too, because it does help us. And stay tuned for Popcorn Addicts to come, for some more chatting Chat episodes, and for some more Nerd Alerts. So thank you all very much. We'll talk to you all later.
Peace.